This is Legacy Battle. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe notification button. I am Michael Adams, creator of Legacy Battle. My co-host tonight from the Gridiron Battle Zone, Brian King. We have a career interview for you here tonight. We're joined by an MLB relief pitcher. Came up with the Blue Jays before being traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates, spending 5 seasons there with the Buccos and finishing out his MLB career with the Cincinnati Reds. And check this out. This is an interesting stat that I found. He's got perfect fielding percentage in 6 seasons. That's pretty nice stat for him there. Strikeout to walk ratio is 2-1, which is always impressive. So we want to welcome to the show Jose Silva. Jose, thank you so
Hey,
much for being here.
oh, anytime. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, and we're gonna jump right into our Q&A, and we'll start with Brian.
Hi, Jose. So you were born in Tijuana, Mexico, then later moved to Chula Vista, California, where you played baseball for Hilltop High School. So what can you tell us about those early days and how were you introduced to the game of baseball?
Yeah, I born in Tijuana. We came back over to San Diego. Started playing baseball at a young age, 5 years old. My dad, he liked baseball. He played football. Big dude. He's a little. I'm skinny compared to him. He was a big, thick, Mexican dude. Thick guy.
Hmm.
Um, he played football and he just loved baseball, and we got into it and playing baseball. And I came up being a catcher. A lot of people don't know that, but
Oh,
I came
wow.
up. I didn't want to pitch. I wanted to catch, but I couldn't hit that good. So, you know, one thing led to another, and I would play in Tijuana as a young kid, and I would play back and forth the states, come across the border, change in the line, making the border wait. As a lot of us did, back then, a lot of guys from Tijuana would come play San Diego, and they still do it now. And I got it. I started throwing the ball a little harder back to the pitcher than it was coming in from the pitcher to the catcher. And they're like, "Hey, let's try you pitching." And here we are.
So after being drafted in 1991 by the Toronto Blue Jays, you worked your way up through the organization from Hagerstown and Knoxville before making your MLB debut in 1996. So what do you remember most about those minor league days, and which aspects of your pitching game were you working on the most during that time?
Um, I remember I got drafted. I was hurt, so I didn't really pitch to 91, and
Mm.
then 92 I came in and played rookie ball. I learned a lot, just being around the guys there. My first year in 91, I didn't throw a ball, I didn't do anything, so it was more um, just introducing myself to the game. I was still 17 when I signed, so
Oh,
yeah. And minor leagues was good. I had a lot of good teammates, and there were guys that were ended up being in the major leagues too with other teams. Uh, I got in a bad car accident in '94, so I missed another year and a half of that. So then when I came back, that's when '94 we got in the car accident, and went back in '95 and pitched like 3 innings, and then I got traded. So I was lucky enough to keep playing, and I just put all my effort into trying to be a good pitcher. So I mean, playing the minor leagues with Toronto was a great opportunity. I had a lot of good people around me, good coaching, and that helped me a lot. I know they used to worry about a lot of the fielding, like you mentioned earlier about the fielding percentage. Toronto, they would install that in us about, you're just not a guy that throws a ball. You got to field. You got to, So we'd work on that every day. So they installed a lot of good habits for me.
nice.
So let's move to 96 here then. Toronto does bring you up. You get your first taste of MLB action, 2 innings pitched that season. So what do you remember from your first game and something I just personally want to know, were you nervous going in there?
I was a little nervous. I was more nervous because I was hurt. So I had bone spurs in my elbow when I got called up, and they called me up anyway. And my elbow was hurting. That's not an excuse, but I had surgery right after. They left me there, and then right after I pitched 1 inning, I think, and I couldn't move my elbow no more, so I had surgery right after. But I remember facing Lee Stevens took me deep in center field. I remember that because I threw him a changeup, and he hit it so far, and I was like, oh, I ain't never thrown a changeup again. But I had faced him before in the minor leagues, and he always got me. He's a good hitter, man. Big, big lefty, and I think I want to say I don't know who got somebody got a double off me, the first hitter. I want to say it was Palmer. I want to say it was Dean Palmer, I think. I want to say that, but I don't remember. But he hit a double, and then he came up and hit a home run, Lee Stevens, and I remember that. Like, people remember stuff. I just remember that bomb. I was like, oh my God, he got it good. It was a changeup. I left it, and he hit it good. But I was a little nervous. I was excited, but mostly I was like, man, I wish I was healthy, But had bone spurs. They took him out at the end of the season, and the next year, I got traded to the Pirates and just went from there.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it. During the offseason before the 1997 season, you were traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team that you spent most of your career with. What were your first thoughts of the city of Pittsburgh and the Pirates fan base?
Fans were awesome because, always Pittsburgh fans they're with you thick and thin. Might talk a little bit, but they're with you. They support you. I mean, when I still go back there, people always, they still recognize me, and and they say we still enjoy you watching you pitch. Pittsburgh, when I went to Pittsburgh, we had a lot of young guys on the team, which helped because everyone's kind of going through the same thing everybody else is going through, a little nervous, still learning how to be a major league player, learning the other hitters, on the field stuff. And I think that helped. We had a lot of young guys, some veterans that, Al Martin was there. He helped me a lot. When Dale Swaim came, he helped me a lot. Players like that, Pete Vukovich was there, veteran. He took me under his wing. He was kind of like, I really got along with him because he was he was the same as my dad. Like, never let you get down on yourself, always pushing you. You know what I mean? So that helped a lot. City of Pittsburgh, still love it. I love going back there. Like I said, when I played there, it was awesome. Three River Stadium, watching Pops play when I was a kid, Tony Pena, stuff like that, and little stuff like that. I mean, you go to the older stadiums and they always have a character, and that's what mostly I remember about coming up, playing in the big leagues.
So Brian mentioned that trade. We said goodbye to some all-time favorite Pirates there. Orlando Merced, Carlos Garcia was in that deal as well. It was a big trade, and the big return came back too, because it wasn't just you and the other player, but there were players to be named later, and it turned into a nice trade. But let me take you to 97 here with the Pirates. You get your first MLB hit. So tell us about it. And as a pitcher, how much batting practice do you guys actually get? I've always wanted to know that.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Plus,
I was coming from Toronto, where we weren't allowed to touch a bat unless
That's
it was
right,
a
American
fungo bat to hit fungos, to the infielders. That was it. And they're like, "Hey, you got traded to Pittsburgh. If you ever make it to the big leagues, you're gonna hit." And I was like, "What? I haven't hit in I haven't picked up a bat in 5 years." So in the off season, we started bunting. Got to spring training, and we hit a little bit. They want to see what you can do, hit, bunt. The manager and coaches and stuff. And they're like, "Hey, Silva, you better get in the cage every day, so you get used to balls coming at you, sliders and stuff like that." But it was, for me, it was totally different because when I was in Toronto for 4 years, 5 years, we didn't pick up a bat. We couldn't even go in the cage, So, but my first hit, I forgot to run. I hit it, and I was sitting there. I hit it. I was looking at it, I was like, "That's a hit." Mark Parent, it was against the Giants. Mark Parent was catching. He's like, "Run, Hosey, run!" I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta run, dude." So I run to first, and I got there. I was like, "Man, thank goodness he told me to run." I was thinking in my head, but it was so funny. It was off Steve Gardner. It was off Steve Gardner, I think. So it was
Okay.
it was funny to me. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed that about baseball now that both leagues are using the
Yeah,
DH. Takes away from
yeah,
the game. But so you threw a fastball, curve, splitter, and a changeup. Those were the pitches that I found. So
yes.
quite the repertoire there. Which pitch was your most effective? Like maybe you used for the strikeout? And how I saw that your fastball peaked at 99 in Pittsburgh. Is that accurate? Did you ever hit 100?
Yeah, well, before my car accident, I was hitting 100, 101, 102 before
Wow.
my car accident. And I lost like 100 and something pounds. And I just never got that back, my fastball back. But still threw kind of hard. Um, the split finger, I started throwing that at the very end when I was at Cincinnati. Uh, they wouldn't let me throw it in Toronto. Back then it was more they thought you were gonna hurt your elbow a lot, more with the split finger. When I was with Pittsburgh, I started relieved. I didn't really I wanted, that was like my fourth best pitch, so I didn't really, work on it a lot, which I should have, because after I couldn't get a job in the States anymore, I went down to Mexico and played, and that was my out pitch for everything. But when I was in the big leagues, I think my out pitch was my curveball. Cause I had a big curveball, my fastball. So it would it'd break a lot. Um, but I wish I would have threw my changeup, worked on my changeup a little bit better. I think that would have helped me a little bit, a little bit longer in the big leagues probably.
So, Jose, throughout your time in Pittsburgh, your manager was Gene Lamont. So I've always wondered what was it like to play for Gene Lamont?
I like Gene. He let you play. He tell you straight. He was straight with everything. He let you know if you sucked. He'll let you know, quiet guy. Hey, do your job. Do your job. You can keep playing. That's what I liked about him. Just straight to the point. Get it done. Do your job, and you'll keep playing.
Right, right. So
Always, he was always good to talk to. You talk to him, he'll give you advice. Stuff like that. I mean, just like, you know, you think these guys are not approachable, and he was always very approachable for me, and he always has his door open, and I love that about him.
nice, nice. Well, you sort of mentioned it earlier. In 2007, you had the opportunity to represent the nation of Mexico in the Pan American Games down in Rio de Janeiro. So, what was that
Yes.
experience like for you?
That was pretty cool. There's a lot of ex big leaguers there. It was awesome experience. I had a little trouble with the gripping the ball because it seemed like a little bit smaller when I was there. Had a little trouble there, but with the ball, my pitches or whatever. But we ended up winning the bronze medal, I think, and it was very exciting. We have, seeing all these amateur players, some pro players from different countries. Cuba was there too. They gave us a great game. So it was a good experience. Like me, I've never done anything like that. I mean, we did the Caribbean series, like from winter ball, stuff like that. But the Pan American Games was totally different. We stayed in the villas, like Olympic villas, and as a player, it was awesome, good experience.
I didn't actually have this question on my list, but I just want to ask real quick. When you came to the Pirates, I'm sure you were in the minors here and there for a little bit. Did you pitch to Jeff Bannister at all? Because he's been on the show. I'm a fan of his.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah.
Banny, I don't know if I pitched against him. He was one of the coaches on our team
Oh,
with
he
the
was already
Pirates.
coached then. Okay.
Yeah, he was coaching already. I don't know if I had faced him, I don't remember. I wasn't. I couldn't tell you my numbers. I couldn't tell you nothing. I was never one of those guys that. If someone asked me, "Hey, how many wins and losses you have?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I gotta look it up." Like, how don't you know? I was like, "I just don't know." I I know it sucks to say, but I wasn't one of those guys like all my numbers and who do I face and what I pitched against it. I remember stances and how guys stand. I remember guys like that more. Not, but Benny, I don't know if I faced Benny ever in the minor leagues or in the major leagues. No, but no, he didn't play in the big leagues, right? He just
He
coached.
he got one at bat. I was just wondering if he ever caught
Right,
for
right.
you. That was what I was wondering.
Oh
So
yeah, he caught me in the bullpen and stuff like
in the
that.
bullpen. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Yeah, perfect.
yes.
All right. So you've been a pitching coach for years out in California for MLB pitching prospects. What is it you find that they need the most help with? And just I guess in your opinion, why do we see today like every pitcher needed Tommy John surgery? Any idea what's going on with that?
I see a lot of kids. I work with a lot of kids here in San Diego area, and everybody wants to throw their hardest. Oh, I need to throw hard. I need to throw hard. And they're 10, 11 years old. Um, they see the guys in the big leagues. Oh, we do the weighted ball. We do this. We do that. Like the bands. We do this workout, which is all fine and dandy. But the kids' parents have to remember those guys in the big leagues are adults. They're 20, 19, 20, 21, 25, whatever. They've been doing it for a long time. When they're younger, they just need to throw, you know? They're not getting taught to exercise, do the running, push-ups, body weight. That's all they need to do, I think, as younger kids. Maybe do some swimming. Um, I think people get caught up in throwing their hardest. And I tell people, I didn't throw my hardest till I was like 20, 19, 20, 21. That's when I threw my hardest, not when I was 12, 13. I didn't even pitch. I was a catcher. I didn't throw that hard. I mean, I threw a little bit harder than everybody, but I was also taller than everybody. So, your top velocity is not going to come till you have muscles, you get the right mechanics, which is probably most important. Um, as I see kids that throw strikes, throw a changeup at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are getting people out. The kids that throw hard, they might throw hard for an inning or two, but eventually you got to throw a strike. So, and when you throw a strike, these kids are hitting, they start hitting the ball a little faster, 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 and they're catching up to the ball. But I mean, I me, I think they're trying to throw too much curveballs at a too young age. That weighted ball program for young kids, I don't think it's good for them. They need to learn how to stretch. I think they need to do more running, a little bit more throwing, because I see kids once a week and we do a lesson, and I try to make sure they're throwing twice or three times a week before they pitch on Saturday or Sunday. And I think they pitch Saturday in one game or two games, and then they come back Sunday and pitch in the game. 2, 3 innings, 4 innings, because they pitch good and they want to win that little 2-cent ring, you know, which I think is not, it's not worth it. And like I tell a lot of parents, I'm like, when do you want them to be good? Like not 8, 9, 10, 11, or when they're 15, 16, or 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, when they're in college or something, I would rather them be better then when they're older, you know, but, my kids that I train, I have like 25, 30 kids, and I keep getting kids coming in, flowing in here and there. I try to teach them how to stretch correctly, play catch the right way. Let's work on mechanics. We're not here to throw hard. We're here to work on mechanics, get people out. That's our job as pitchers, get people out and give your team a chance to win. That's it. And cover bases, of course. And that's it. I think that's the big thing here right now. People try to do what people do in big leagues, and you're 10 years old. You can't do that. I mean, because they're grown men, their bodies are out and doing it baseball forever. They have the right technique of working out. And when they're little kids and they try to teach them how to work out, they're going to mess up. They're going to bend their elbow. They're going to do this. They're going to do that, and that causes injury. Then with that injury, then there you go. That tongue down, shoulder starts hurting, and I mean, parents have to kind of chill out a little bit. No one's getting to the big leagues at 11 or 12 years old, or to getting a D1 scholarship, D2 scholarship at 12. So I think that's the problem right now.
Right. Well, thank you, former Pirates pitcher Jose Silva. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Anytime. Anytime. Thank you very much.
I'll remind everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. Thank you for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Everyone have a great night.